Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. It's Joe, and it's time for Puck It with Joe here on a Sports Grid TV. Okay, yesterday, one game on the slate, but don't worry if you missed out on a lot of action. Every single team in the league is in action today. Yes, that's right. We have 16 games on the board. So we're going to try to go over all of these games as quickly as insightful as possible in this time. Remember, game time decisions does kick off at the top of the hour. You don't want to miss out on that. Lots of great bets coming out over there. So let's jump into these. Joe coming at me with the Kraken. Joe, you're a Kraken fan. We know that. So everyone take that with some caution. We'll get into that game. We're going to kick off with the one that's starting right away. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Washington Capitals. Now, we're going to pull up current odds. All odds are provided over by FanDuel here. So current odds on this one. The Toronto Maple Leafs coming in at minus 176, plus 146 here if you like the Washington Capitals, at total of 6.5, minus 118 to the over. Looking at these two teams, Washington Capitals just not starting off the season like we would have expected out of this team, and not how they wanted to. Now they're the dog here at home, and they're the dog for the reason. The Toronto Maple Leafs, while they haven't been thoroughly consistent on the season, this is a team that is firing away on goal, averaging 38.6 shots on goal per game, which is best overall in the league. And you look at the Washington Capitals, they're not taking those chances. They're not firing, only averaging 24.8 shots on goal. That's not going to win them these games, especially against Toronto. We know Toronto did get the win in OT versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, a game that they desperately needed to win after suffering two losses. I expect their momentum to keep rolling here. In the Washington Capitals, while I do believe in this team and think they are a solid team, and Ovechkin needs that bounce back game, I'm just not seeing it versus the Maple Leafs in this one. I think the Maple Leafs can get the win, but looking at that line value, it's hard to take them here. You can't take them on the money line. I'm going to look at this one for the Leafs team total, over 3.5 for their team total. We're going to bring down the juice a little bit by doing so. That's coming in at minus 122. And I do see the value at taking them over 3.5 goals here. We look at the Washington Capitals in this defense. They're allowing 33 shots on goal per game, 3.75 goals on average. And while Darcy Kemper is in net, Darcy Kemper hasn't started off like Darcy Kemper that we all know that he can be. He's got a save percentage of 0.887. So I do expect the Leafs to capitalize on this. You look at Austin Matthews here coming out in this one, taking him over his shots on goal. I definitely think is a good one. Take him over 4.5 shots on goal. I do expect him to get 5+ shots on goal in this game. So that is the first one. Ovechkin to get his first goal tonight, Joe. I completely agree with you there. And I'm glad you said that one. Ovechkin really needs to start going in these games. And I do think he gets it. Ovechkin versus the Leafs, he has played solid over his career. He had 5 shots on goal versus the Montreal Canadiens in that game, and I expect him to come out just as strong in this one. Now, the power play is really strong for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So this is a game where the Capitals really have to stay out of that box, and they have to get shooting more. They're only shooting at 5.1%. It's just not a recipe for these wins for this team's. Avs lose tonight. I think the Avs lose tonight too. We'll get to that game in a couple of minutes. Okay, the next game on the board. Now we have the Anaheim Ducks taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. This apparently has changed. Supposed to kick off at 6:30 Eastern. I just saw a report that it's not coming out till 8:30 Eastern, as Columbus has lost power. I'm not sure if it's back on or what is happening with this one. We look at current odds right now over on FanDuel for this game. Let me just see where they moved it. Yeah, they are showing 8:40 Eastern now. Plus 122 here for the Anaheim Ducks. The Columbus Blue Jackets a minus 146, total 6.5, minus 118 to that over. I think this is a nice opportunity with this kind of game delay for the Anaheim Ducks, who, yes, they are struggling on this season and they spend way too much time in the box, but to come out strong to start this game at least. I'm going to take them in the first period on the money line. We're getting beautiful plus money on them in the first period on the money line, coming in at plus plus 108. I lean for this one to stay under that total, which is a scary situation. But we look at Elvis. He's actually been really solid for the Columbus Blue Jackets, which is something I haven't wanted to admit. He's been a fade for me coming out so far. And this will probably be the game where the Ducks come out and just destroy him. And I'm back to going, okay, he is the Elvis that I know, but we just haven't seen that yet. If the Ducks stay out of the box, I think they have the prime opportunity to come out strong in the first period and win. Doss still expected in goal for them. He's got a .919 save percentage. This team is allowing 30 shots on goal and 3 goals per game. And we see the Columbus Blue Jackets allowing those shots and those goals to come in. But neither of these teams really has shown me enough offensively to think in this one that they're going to really trade goals back and forth. Now, the Ducks have owned this matchup in Columbus, winning the first or the last 4 games in Columbus. So I do think they have a prime opportunity to be able to get it done tonight. We're going to talk about the Dallas Stars in a couple minutes, so just hold on. We will get there. Caps are too old. The Washington Capitals, yeah, absolutely struggling out there. Aging team for sure. And yes, I just saw that comment. Toronto puck line, first period. Yeah, I do like the Toronto first period puck line as well there. Columbus is tough at home. I'm seeing those comments come in on Instagram as well. Thank you guys for joining us over there. Columbus is hard at home, and Elvis has been strong in goal this season. And that's why I'm just looking at the Ducks for that first period. I think the Ducks come out, kind of surprise them here. We've had all the concerns. This is going to be the stressed out team that all of a sudden they're not playing on time. You know, we got the Ducks just traveling into town. That, yeah, they'll be waiting around as well. But I do think it's the Columbus team that will face more stress, and we'll see an early goal out of the Ducks. So 4-0 in the last 4 meetings in Columbus, 4-0 in the last 4 meetings versus Columbus, and the road team going 5-2 in the last 7. So first period bad. And that's a small one, not my favorite game of the night. Okay, let's move on to the next game here. The Buffalo Sabres will be in action versus the Ottawa Senators. Now, you guys, if you were here with me yesterday, we faded Buffalo because of the schedule that they have on deck starting today. So the Montreal Canadiens able to get a low scoring win. I didn't expect it to be a 3-1 win, but they were able to beat Buffalo, and they got us some great plus money. So now the Buffalo Sabres on the road here, plus 152 on the money line, minus 184, and a total of 6.5. Juiced so highly to that over at minus 160. You know we can't take that over at minus 160, but I do see this one going over that total. One thing you can look at, though, is if this juice starts to drop. If we don't see those goals right out of the gate, we know the live betting of these games is highly successful. So watch for that if you're watching this. Now, this is an Atlantic Divisional matchup. If all of a sudden someone scores right away that total, you're going to lose that 6.5. So this is going to be a high-scoring game. First period over 1.5. I do like that. First period over 1.5. Both teams to score in the first period. Not sure if I'd get there. I really do have a lot of faith in the Ottawa Senators coming into this game. They're the rested team. They got such a strong penalty kill. And I do think with Anton Forsberg in goal, this is the team that should be able to get the win, especially with the Buffalo Sabres on that back-to-back. I see your plays coming in over there, Cannon on IG. A nice plays there. I love your Red Wings play in the wild. So great ones. I do think with Buffalo off the loss, less of a fade than I would have wanted to have on them in this matchup if they would have won yesterday. This team is going to be eager and hungry. We know there's talent on this team. I really like what we've seen out of Tage Thompson last season. That being said, this season, he really hasn't been looking like himself. I'm waiting for that really big breakout offensive game out of him and out of this full team. They're only averaging that 2.17 goals per game and 31.8 shots on goal. Well, we look at the Ottawa Senators, and this team has started off red hot, averaging 4.2 goals per game and 33 shots on goal. Their goaltending hasn't been absolutely phenomenal because they're still allowing 3 goals per game, and defensively, they're second in the league at limiting opponents' ability to get those shots on goal at 28.2. So kind of shaky, Anton Forsberg, and Senators, Korpisalo is the other goalie. It's been Korpisalo more that has had those struggles. So Forsberg coming in here with a 1.5 goals against average and a .933 save percentage. Lankaken is expected in goal for the Buffalo Sabres tonight, also giving me caution with the Buffalo Sabres in this one. Levi is out with a lower body injury. So this is Lankaken's first game in net. We know goalies can start off shaky or red hot. I expect a shaky performance versus this Ottawa Senators team. Young, fast, talented, and is going to score on him. I just really see it. So give me the first period three-way for the Ottawa Senators. That means they have to win in the first period. This game, there can be no push. So if these two teams finish 1-1, 1-0, they get the win. But if it's tied at the end, you don't get your money back like you would with the normal money line. So first period three-way for the Ottawa Senators coming in at plus 135. We're getting great plus money versus a team that is on the back-to-back off a loss with a goalie that's starting his first game of the season. I love this one here. You also look at the Buffalo Sabres. They've struggled in Ottawa. 1-7 in the last 8 meetings in Ottawa. 3-7 in the last 10 meetings overall. So this is going to be a good one. Sens on the puck line. I do like Sens on the puck line. I do think that will make you money. Brady Tkachuk, we always have to look at him for that anytime goal. He really is the heart and soul of this team. The Tkachuk brothers just playing absolutely phenomenal hockey and true leaders out there. And the penalty kill here of the Ottawa Senators is one of the better in the league. Okay, next game. On deck, we have the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning of that heartbreaking loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the game that looked like they were going to win, and Toronto fought back, and I was so thankful they fought back because I was banking on Toronto to bounce back in that one. I also had the over. So the two kind of went hand in hand, and Toronto was able to get it done, but I felt for the Lightning because they started off that game so hot. So they're at home in this one at plus 106. We got the Carolina Hurricanes, minus 128. Total of 6.5, minus 118 to the over 6.5. Now, Ranta is expected in goal for the Carolina Hurricanes, and Johansson here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, Johansson has had some struggles on the season. He's got a 3.58 goals against average and a .902 save percentage. The problem here with this team is the amount of shots on goal they're allowing. They're allowing their opponents to just pepper their goaltender in net. They're the worst team at not allowing those shots to come in. They're allowing 37.2 shots on goal per game. Not a number that you want to be known for as a team. This defense really needs to step up. They need to give support in front of the goal, and they're not doing so, which is dangerous. Against the Carolina Hurricanes right now, this is a team that at the current moment is averaging 4.5 goals per game and 33.5 shots on goal. But then the problem with this team is they also are allowing the goals. So opposite here, their goaltending has not being strong. They're allowing 5 goals on average per game, which is the worst overall in the league. Like, this is worse than the Sharks. This is worse than the Coyotes. This is worse than the Ducks. Everyone gets down on these teams. This Canes team right now in goal is just not looking good. So Ranta coming in 4.41 goals against average with a .818 save percentage this season. Yes, he is bound to get back and to get back strong. But versus the Lightning, who are averaging 29 shots on goal, 3.33 goals per game, I think it's going to be a hard feat for him to not be as strong as we need him in this one. So there's a couple of ways I'm going to look at this. I am flirting with taking the Canes team total. I think this one is a high scoring one. Give me a 5-4 finish in this game. The Canes team total at 3.5, you're getting plus 104 to the over. So I can see them scoring those 4 goals. That being said, though, I expect them. They're averaging 33.5 shots on goal. We have the Lightning giving up 37.2 shots on goal. I expect them to put up closer to 40 shots on goal. So looking at Johansson here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, the goalie, I'm looking at his safe shot on goal prop, even though I'm playing the Canes team total over 3.5, because I expect about 40 shots. His number coming in only at 30.5 to the over at minus 116. So I'm kind of going all over the page in this game because I think there's plenty of opportunities to make some money, even though I normally don't like to take one team for their goals and then the other team for their goaltender to have a good night, because you're kind of banking, double dipping on these games. But I do think this is one where you can look up Braden Point also for his shots on goal tonight from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Brandon Hagel. Both of these players have been so phenomenally strong. This one, if I had to go with that total, I would take it to the over. Like I said, 5-4 style game. I think we could get 9 goals in this one. Now, could we have a 4-3? Absolutely, but that still gets us over that number of 6.5. Again, you've got to lay the juice there. Extended lines maybe in this one, but the Canes team total, I can see them getting 4 goals in this one, is at plus 104 to over 3.5. Okay, let's move on to the next game. We're going to try to go through these games as fast as possible. And for everyone, we will bookmark these after the game or after the show. I'll put all those bookmarks in. You can go over, if you're watching on IG, over to Sports Grid TV on Twitter, X, and all those bookmarks will be there. You can skip ahead. All you have to do is hold down on the video and it will allow you to skip ahead, because if you don't want to hear about the Devils and the Montreal Canadiens, why would you? I think it's a good game to look at here. The New Jersey Devils minus 245. Montreal Canadiens at plus 198. Total 6.5 at minus 128 to the over. This game, okay, let me get you the puck line. This is a puck line game for me all day long. I think it's the New Jersey Devils on the puck line, minus 1.5, minus 102. Yes, we're not getting a lot of value at minus 102 there on the New Jersey Devils, but they should come in here rested. Another fast, hard, hungry, young team that looks to dominate out there on the ice. And I think they cover that puck line. Now, they are 0-4 on the puck line on the road, or on the season. 0-1 on the puck line on the road. I think this is where they change things around. We look at the Montreal Canadiens, and Caden Primera is getting the start for them in net. We did see him in preseason. He was, I think, a 7th-round pick back in 2017. He's got a career record of 3-12 with an goals against average. I almost said ERA. Goals against average of 4.11 and a save percentage of 0.871. I'm not trusting him versus this Devils team. I think the Devils come out and absolutely dominate from the very start of this game. So they have the best power play in the league, converting at 42.9%. The Montreal Canadiens, the most penalized team in the whole league. And yes, we backed them last night. I don't dislike teams when I'm betting against them. I do think this is a strong team. Jake Allen stood on his head last night. We're not going to have the same goaltending that we had last night. And these goalies coming out for the first time, yes, they can be so impactful. But when we look at the Montreal Canadiens and how they've done on their power play, and the kill, and how many penalty minutes they're facing, the worst penalized team in the league at 21 minutes per game. It's only a 60-minute game, you guys. I just cannot see them being able to keep this tight with the New Jersey Devils. So give me the New Jersey Devils on the puck line. Give me them in the first period on the puck line, laying that half a goal. And then this is where our same game parlay is for our shots on goal. So I'm going to look at Dougie Hamilton. I know you guys haven't heard me talk about him a lot, but last game versus the Islanders, he was able to get 7 shots on goal. So I do think taking Dougie Hamilton here for 3+ shots on goal, a nice way to take him. And this parlay, 4-leg parlay, pays plus 502. So if you're looking to bet these ones separately, a lot of these guys, you're going to have to take up a goal. I did bring them down a goal and paid extra juice within the parlay for this parlay, but outside of the parlay, I'd bump them up a little bit more. And I do think they will go over these numbers. So Dougie Hamilton, first leg of this parlay, 3+ shots on goal. We're then going to look at Jack Hughes. We know Jack Hughes has been phenomenal. 6 shots on goal in the last game versus the Islanders, and 3-3-3, I believe, in the ones prior. No, sorry. He's gone 6-6-6 in these 3 games prior. So Jack Hughes has been phenomenal. I'm taking him up to 4+ shots on goal. Then we're going to look at Jasper Bratt. He only had 1 shot on goal in the last game versus the Islanders, but in the game prior, he was able to get 5 shots. I can see him against the defense here of the Montreal Canadiens going over his number. We need him 3+. And then Tyler Toffoli, previous Calgary Flames guy. He's been strong out there. 5 shots on goal in the last game. 1 prior, he had 4, and 1 prior to that, he had 5. So again, that is 4-leg parlay. We're getting plus 502. We're going to take Jack Hughes, 4+ shots on goal, and then everyone else at 3+ shots on goal, which is Dougie Hamilton, Tyler Toffoli, and Jasper Bratt. So good luck with that parlay. Let me know if you're tailing. If you're tailing, like this video and then give me a retweet. I would appreciate it, you guys. Let's go Devils tonight. I'm excited for this game. Jack Hughes, Tyler Toffoli. You can look at those guys for the anytime goals as well, and you're going to get value there. The next game, the Dallas Stars taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the Stars minus 130 here on the money line. The Pittsburgh Penguins at plus 108. Total of 6.5. Juice to that under at minus 122 to the under 6.5. I think this one goes over. This total of 6.5, I think is too low. We look at these teams, and while Jake Ottinger has been absolutely phenomenal, something is telling me that this Pittsburgh Penguins team will be able to score on him. It's a really solid defense as well. So I'm kind of cautious with this game. My gut's telling me give me the over. The books are giving us on that over at plus 100. So we're getting so much value in that over. But I think the Penguins can pull this off. They need a bounce back, and they need a bounce back really hard here. This is the game I think they bounce back. The Stars have actually struggled in the meetings in Pittsburgh, only winning 1 of the last 5 meetings in Pittsburgh. This defense is solid, but I expect this one to be a battle to the very end. I think the Penguins finally have a really strong game from start to finish. We know in some of these games, they've either started off weak or finished weak, causing them those losses, sitting 2-3 on the season. They are averaging 3.2 goals per game and 34.2 shots on goal, which is 5th overall on the league. Jake Ottinger has been almost perfect. And I say that as I appreciate him, and I think he's so talented and elite. But I think the Penguins might be able to hit him hard unexpectedly tonight. He's got a 1.58 goals against average, so this is terrifying, and a save percentage of 0.943. I think it just could be a letdown. So both teams so strong on that face-off. Give me the Penguins. Give me Sidney Crosby to go over his shots on goal. Give me Sidney Crosby to find the back of the net. I'm scared with that bet. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Okay, the next one, the San Jose Sharks and the Florida Panthers. Now, the Florida Panthers minus 260 here on the money line, plus 205 on the San Jose Sharks. Total of 6.5 at minus 132 to the over. Plus 1.5 for the Sharks is minus 110. And that is where my money is going. I think this Sharks team, who's yet to record a win on the season, will play the Florida Panthers hard. Florida on that puck line isn't a team I absolutely love to trust in a lot of situations. They seem to play in a lot of tight games. Yes, they're 2-3 on that puck line. Looking at the Sharks, only 1-4 on the puck line on the season. But this Sharks team seems to dig deep and play a full 60 minutes of each and every game. Their goaltender confirmed tonight is Mackenzie Blackwood, and this is where I have the faith in the Sharks tonight. He was absolutely elite versus the Colorado Avalanche. And if he can have a performance like he did versus the Colorado Avalanche, this could be the one where the San Jose Sharks pull off the upset against the Florida Panthers. And I don't like to go against the Florida Panthers. I really like what I've seen out of this team, but I think all of the value is there. Versus the Colorado Avalanche, he only allowed 1 goal. Okay. It doesn't sound too impressive until you hear how many shots on goal the Avs put on him. It was an overtime loss for Mackenzie Blackwood. Last time out versus the Colorado Avalanche, they put 52 shots on him. He only allowed 1 of those to go in. I'm a big advocate of riding goalies when they're hot. Mackenzie Blackwood comes into this game burning hot. So I am going to back him here and expect him to really be able to win this one for the Sharks. Now, if he doesn't come out as hot, the Florida Panthers, we absolutely know are going to destroy them. So it all depends on the goaltender, and I'm willing to take a shot on him tonight. Okay, the next game, we're going to talk about the Colorado Avalanche taking on the New York Islanders. Now, the Avs minus 152, current odds at FanDuel, plus 126 for the Islanders. Total is low at 5.5 at minus 110 to that over. We know Colorado is undefeated. Alexander Georgiev confirmed in goal tonight, a 1.58 goals against average and a save percentage that's elite at 0.934. Sorokin in net expected at least for the New York Islanders. If you guys have seen a change in that since we started the show, please let me know. Sorokin has been absolutely phenomenal over the years. Now, his goals against average is a little bit higher than I would like to see right now at a 2.32 goals against average and a 0.914 save percentage. The Islanders have got off to a nice start at home, sitting 2-1 on the season, 1-3 on that puck line. And Colorado undefeated. Now, Colorado's defense is killer. They're only allowing 1.6 goals per game, second overall in the league. The shots on goal, the defense is really limiting their opponent's ability to get those shots, sitting fifth overall in the league at 28 shots on goal per game. The Islanders, their team has been known always throughout the years as a defensive team. Now they're allowing that 2.5 goals per game. We saw them really explode in that one game, getting those goals, but then they lost to the Sabres, only able to get that one goal in that 3-1 loss, allowing those goals to come in. This team averaging that 2.25 goals per game and 30 shots on goal. The Avs have struggled in New York. They struggled versus the Islanders. I do think the Islanders have every ability to pull off an upset win here. Colorado, yes, undefeated. I think this is a defensive battle. I think this is a low-scoring game, and we know the under 5.5 is a hard place to put your money, but I do think it comes in. I like your bet of the Islanders plus 1.5. I definitely would put that as a parlay piece there. I'm a little nervous on the juice on that to put it as a regular bet, but I do like the Islanders straight up on the money line. I think the value is there. I like the under 5.5. It's going to be a battle. Limited penalty minutes for the Islanders, which I love to see. Third overall in the league, only putting on 8.8 minutes in the box. They need to do this versus the Avs because the power play of the Avs will destroy the Islanders if they get into the box. So cautious with this one. We need an Islanders team to come out nice and solid. And then we have every opportunity of cashing the Islanders, the home dog. Let's move on to the next one. And I know Joe out there was already screaming for the Kraken. The Kraken at plus 104, minus 125 for the Detroit Red Wings. Total 6.5, juice to that under, minus 125 to the under. And I see why the books are juicing this game to the under, because we look at what the Seattle Kraken have been doing offensively, and it's not much. I hate to say that, but this team's struggling offensively. They're struggling on the road, yet to record a win on the road, only averaging 1.83 goals per game and 30 shots on goal. We look at the Red Wings. Now, this team, exact opposite. This team, first overall in the league, averaging 5 goals per game and 31.2 shots on goal. They have the best or second best power play in the whole league and the highest shooting percentage. This team is firing, and you guys know we've made money on DeBrincat here. He is just playing an absolutely phenomenal start to this season. I can't get past the Red Wings, and I know Joe and others are wanting the Seattle Kraken to get the win tonight. I don't know if they can get it done versus this Red Wings team. This Kraken team will need to really step up and start firing. There's a little bit of puck luck in hockey, and if you don't fire, how are you ever going to get that puck in the back of a goalie's net? I'm cautious there. Sorokin is confirmed for the Islanders, Lessman. Thank you so very much for confirming him. It gives me all the faith in the Islanders tonight with him in goal. So what I'm going to look at here is I'm going to look at the first period. I don't care what happens for the rest of the game because everyone is right. The Kraken have the opportunity to pull off the upset if we see the Kraken team that I believe they were going to be when they first came out this season versus Vegas. But we know what happened. That season opener, Vegas absolutely destroyed them, even with all the commotion going on and all the players, going to the Raiders game the night before, having the raising of the banner. I do think the Red Wings come in here, score first in this game, and put up a fast goal. I'm going to look at this game. Now, there's two ways. I'm going to look at the first period for the Red Wings on the puck line, and then I don't care who wins the game, but on the puck line, laying the half a goal, it's plus 164. I'm also going to look at a goal within the first 5 minutes. One of these teams is scoring for us in the first 5 minutes. I think both of these teams, especially the Seattle Kraken, they are so eager to get on this scoreboard. Husso expected in goal, or confirmed in goal, for the Red Wings. He could let in these goals, and I could see this being a 2-1 first period. So the Red Wings in the first period on the puck line will hit as long as they get those 2 goals, and the goal in the first 5 minutes here coming in at plus 172. So the both teams to score. I'm going to kind of stay off because I could also see it being 2-1 or it being 1-0 or 2-0 in that first period. So the Red Wings first period puck line and a goal in the first 5 minutes. The yes is coming in at plus 172. Joe, you're jumping on that first goal. Okay, first goal, 5 minutes. I like it there. Let's move on to the next game. You guys, 16 games on the board. I'm trying to get all the bets out to you as fast as possible. I just can't talk any faster. If you watch it on replay, turn my speed to 1.5. I sound kind of funny, but all the bets are faster coming out of my mouth when you turn me to 1.5. So the Boston Bruins minus 240 here versus the Chicago Blackhawks plus 195. Repeat, these teams have already played. Now, total of 5.5 at minus 124 to the over 5.5. The last time these teams played, Connor Bedard came out and he was able to score the first goal. That was the only goal of the game for the Chicago Blackhawks. And the Boston Bruins won it 3-1. Now, Chicago played a really strong game defensively. I like what we saw out of this team. They were in Boston, which we know is such a harder place to be able to play. I'm going to look at Connor Bedard again. Yes, we made money on Connor Bedard in the last game, first game at home, scoring that goal, first goal by a Chicago Blackhawks player. That paid us plus 650. I expect him to be able to put up a point in this game. So look at Connor Bedard for the point. He's got a point in 4 of his 6 NHL games on this season. And then I got to make some sort of play on the Boston Bruins here. I know how phenomenally strong this team is. Swayman expected in goal. Peter Moretz expected here for the Chicago Blackhawks. I do think you look at David Pastrnak here for over on his shots on goal in this game. Pastrnak scored 2 of the 3 goals in the last game versus the Chicago Blackhawks. So they had a really hard time containing him. Those shots were coming in for him. I think the Blackhawks plus the 1.5 at minus 120. Let me just double check that if we've seen any movement. Yeah, at minus 126 for the plus 1.5 is an interesting way to go with this one because I do think this is a low scoring game. I'm on the under 5.5. I know the unders are not fun to bet when we have a 5.5, but I think this is a 2-1 game at worst, a 3-2 game, but I see it being within a goal. I don't think Boston rolls in here and gets a shutout or completely dominates over the Chicago Blackhawks. Just got feeling here. Again, not my favorite game to bet for those sides, but I do like those player props a lot with Pastrnak and Connor Bedard. But the Blackhawks plus 1.5, I don't hate it, you guys. The 5.5 is where I have a little bit of caution, but when I'm taking a plus 1.5, I'm always looking more to that under. So good luck with this game. This is going to be a crazy one. And you guys, I go over every single game on the board. So it's a lot. Swayman in goal. Swayman is good in goal for sure. You're liking the Blackhawks. Bedard had 6 shots on goal versus Boston. Yeah, and now with Swayman in, you got to look for that one to cash. Now, there's not much of a downgrade between Allmark and Swayman. When we really look at things, they're both really solid goalies. Okay, the next game on the board is, let me just see here. We have St. Louis Blues taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Okay, St. Louis coming in here at plus 152, minus 184 for the Jets. Total of 6.5, minus 130 to the under. And I understand why this one is juiced to the under. We look at the goaltending here for both of these teams. Connor Hellebuck, you guys know, I don't like going against him at home. Has that proven right so far this season? Is not in every game, but Jordan Binnington has looked phenomenally strong for the St. Louis Blues. And this defense, while they're giving up the shots, it's because of goaltending that this team is hanging in these games. Binnington has a 1.26 goals against average with a save percentage of 0.959. He's been phenomenal. Jordan Binnington, when things don't go his way, do you guys remember him at the end of last season? He was flying his stick at players out there on the ice. He gets heated out there. So watch him as the season goes on. Let's see when Jordan Binnington finally explodes. I give him probably, 6 more weeks, 7 more weeks for Jordan Binnington for the stress to get to him. At this point, he's solid out there, and I'm not worried about him in net and taking an under in this one. And yes, we're laying juice at minus 130 to the under 6.5, but I do think it is a smart way to go. Connor Hellebuck in net has a 3.72 goals against average. This is not a true reflection of Connor Hellebuck. I do expect a bounce back game out of him. That save percentage right now sitting on the season at 0.878. He's not going to look this bad versus the St. Louis Blues. The St. Louis Blues offensively are only putting up 24 shots on goal and averaging those 2 goals per game. They're allowing that 2.5, and like I said, allowing 35 shots on goal. When we look at the Winnipeg Jets, they're averaging 3.2 and 33 shots on goal, allowing that 4.2 and 30.2 shots on goal. This one is an under for me all day. I really do think between Binnington and Hellebuck, they control this game. So one play I don't think I've taken very much is no goals in the first 10 minutes. This is a hairy one to take because you guys know we love to see those goals come in. I don't think they come in the first 10 minutes of this one. The no on a goal in the first 10 minutes is coming in at plus 116. And I know we're all going to be holding our breaths if you bet this one with me for that first 10 minutes, hoping neither of these goalies screw up and both of these teams really start off slow offensively. That coming in at plus 116, I'm going to take. I also like the under at 1.5 in the first period. That's coming in at plus 100. Like I said, the St. Louis Blues just aren't getting the goals on the board. And I expect Connor Hellebuck to really stand tall. So I bet one or the other, you guys, we know it's a hard one to win, that 10-minute bet, but I do like it. Toronto and the Capitals just started. Kelly coming in with the under 1.5 in that first period. Kelly, I'm glad you're on that with me. Let me know if you're going to take the under in or no goals in the first 10 minutes as well. Again, not one that I normally bet, but I couldn't get past that plus money when I liked the first period under 1.5. The Edmonton Oilers are taking on the Minnesota Wild as the next game on the board. Now, minus 110 for both of these teams. It's a pick'em game. That total of 6.5, minus 112 to the over, minus 110 to the under. If Connor McDavid was in this game, we would see that over be more juiced. We would actually, I think, see Edmonton be more juiced here. This is an Edmonton team that I think even without Connor McDavid could pull off the win. I'm cautious in this one because everyone's just writing off the Edmonton Oilers without Connor McDavid. How impactful was he in those first couple of games? He is the star of this team. And don't get me wrong, but he hasn't shown up for those first couple of games. And this team has been losing these games, sitting 1-3-1 on the season. 1-2 on that puck line, 1-4 on, 1-2 on the puck line on the road, and 1-4 on the puck line overall. The problem with this team is goaltending, and we know the Minnesota Wild have played a phenomenal offensive game to start the season. We know Edmonton took those first 2 losses to the Vancouver Canucks with Connor McDavid on the ice. Leon Draisaitl has been phenomenal out there. There's still so many playmakers on this team. And you guys know I joke, and I call this team Deadmonton. I don't think this team is dead without Connor McDavid. Does it make it harder for them in these games? Absolutely. Can we see other players step up? Absolutely. So don't just write off the Edmonton Oilers because Connor McDavid isn't on the ice, it doesn't mean this team can't get the win. I'm going to be cautious though. I'm going to look at this game, the first period over 1.5. That first period over 1.5 is juiced at minus 134, but I think both teams can score in that first period. Gustafsson expected in net for the Minnesota Wild. He has a 3.93 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.906. Now, Jack Campbell, it's Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell has been an absolute sieve, except for, he stands on his head in one game and then we all go, okay, what is Jack Campbell going to do the next? He's got a 3.65 goals against average and a 0.920 save percentage, and nothing against him. This team doesn't give as much support as I'd like to see in front of the net for him either. So allowing 4 goals on average per game, the Edmonton Oilers are on 30.2 shots on goal. Minnesota Wild, in that regard, are allowing the 30th most shots on their goaltender at 36.6 and 4.2. This is a team that we knew for their defense in previous season, and they're not just showing up this season. So both teams to score in the first period because of these goaltenders. I think they get hit, and they get hit fast by both of these teams. That is coming in at plus 160. So of course I'm on the over 6.5 at minus 110. I can't believe we're getting a minus 110. They've got, I can't not think about putting some money on Edmonton as well, because everyone's saying Edmonton is dead. Well, I tell you, I've always called them Deadmonton, but I don't think they're dead tonight. Kelly with Evander Kane for the anytime goal, and that is a very solid way to go. And Deadmonton is dead. New Jersey to score a power play goal at minus 155. Not betting the first 10 minutes. Okay, I like where you're going with that one for sure. You guys remember, everyone watching over here on IG, that the show is on SportsGrid TV, Twitter as well, and you can go back and watch any of the breakdowns of these games that you want to. Okay, we're flying, you guys. The next game, the Vancouver Canucks taking on the Nashville Predators, with the Vancouver Canucks at plus 104, minus 125 for the Preds here at home, total of a 6.5. Now, Demko is expected in goal for the Vancouver Canucks, and Saros expected here for the Nashville Predators. Both of these teams really have been putting up those goals, with the Vancouver Canucks averaging 4 goals per game and the Nashville Predators averaging that 3. The huge difference here is the amount of shots on goal these teams are taking to get those goals in the back of the net, with the Vancouver Canucks only averaging 26.6 and the Nashville Predators averaging that 34.5 shots on goal, which is 3rd best overall in the league. Now, the Vancouver Canucks also have been allowing these shots to come raining in on a Demko in net, allowing 36.2 shots on goal per game, while the Nashville Predators have been really solid in front of their goaltender, only allowing 28.8. I do think this is a recipe where the Nashville Predators can get the win at home. Now, the Nashville Predators on that money line, now minus 125, was minus 122 earlier. I think there is value in them for this win, and I do think this one should go over that total. I just don't see this one staying under, even though we're seeing a low goals allowed for both of these teams because of the goaltenders. I do think I lean to the over if I'm going to bet this one. The Vancouver Canucks have also struggled in Nashville. So give me the Nashville Predators on the money line. I think Saros has a really nice night. But I would, again, look at Demko for his safe shots on goal, because we know the Preds are going to put up at least for 40 shots in this one. Demko's number, I think, is coming in right around 30 safe shots on goal. I could see him easily going over this number, even if the Preds put up 40 and get a 3-2 or 4-2 style win here. Okay, the New York Rangers taking on my Calgary Flames, minus 125 for the Rangers here on the road, plus 104 for the Calgary Flames, total of 6.5, juice to that under at minus 140 to the under. Now, I think if you like the Rangers to get the win, you have to look at that under and expect Calgary to struggle again offensively to be able to put up those goals. And I understand why Calgary is the dog at home in this one, because they really haven't shown up in these games. But I think there's been inconsistencies out of the Rangers as well. They have a great power play. Igor Shesterkin isn't looking completely himself. And we know he starts off seasons like this and then he gets absolutely hot. He's got a 3.14 goals against average with a save percentage of 0.879. Slow start for sure. And then Jacob Markstrom in goal, expected at least tonight for the Calgary Flames with a 2.75 goals against average and a 0.905 save percentage. The Calgary Flames actually have the best kill in the whole league at 95.5%. They will need to bring that penalty kill 100% tonight because the power play of the New York Rangers is great. I just don't feel like the Rangers will get this win in Calgary. And yes, Calgary is off a road trip, but I do think getting back in front of their home crowd, they have the ability to get this win. I'm going to look at this to be a hot first period. I expect this first period to see goals. I'm going to take the over 1.5 goals in the first period coming in at minus 116. I liked Calgary's team total over 2.5, but it's too juiced, you guys. It's minus 156. I think this is another 4-3 style game, so I am going to take the over. If you like the Rangers, though, to get the win, you got to think the Rangers win this 3-2. If you're with me with Calgary, you got to think this is a 4-3 style game. So depending on what you're liking and who you think is going to get this win, I think really depends on where you're getting this total. Lessman, my mom is going to the game, so keep your fingers crossed for her that they get this win because she can't be a bad luck charm this season. She was a good luck charm last season for sure. And the roads are so cold. It's cold and icy out here, so we need her to bring that good luck to the Calgary Flames tonight. The Arizona Coyotes and the LA Kings also 1040, a late game here, plus 155 for the Arizona Coyotes, minus 184 for the LA Kings, total of 6.5 at minus 120 to that. Under, I'm taking this one under. I think in this game, we can look at the Arizona Coyotes to be able to keep this tight. Now, the Kings are off a loss. They're yet to win at home. So I do think they can get the win here. Then are they going to get the blowout win versus the Arizona Coyotes? I just don't see it happening. Sitting 1-2 on the puck line at home. The Coyotes have got off to a hot start. They're 4-0 on that puck line on the road. They're not getting blown completely out of the water in these games. And I do think they have the opportunity to pull off the upset in this one. Connor Ingram has been strong in net. He's got a 2.02 goals against average with a save percentage of 0.926. This team is only allowing an average of 1.8 goals per game, which is third best in the league, and 31.4 shots on goal. Yes, they're not averaging a lot of goals at 2.4, but if they can contain the LA Kings, who I know have been dangerous this season, I do think this one stays under, and I do think they have the opportunity at least plus 1.5 on that puck line, but I'm going to sprinkle on that money line as well. Phoenix Copley expected here for the LA Kings. Now, he started off really, really rough. In his first game versus Carolina, he allowed 5 goals on only 19 shots on goal. A save percentage here of 0.737 and a goals against average of 4.69. I could see these struggles coming for him versus the Arizona Coyotes. And excuse me as the dog barks, but you guys, that is normally a good thing that the dog is barking when I'm talking about a dog that I think is barking on the ice. As someone knocks on my door, it's young kids looking to shovel the last of the snow on my driveway, so apologies. Okay, so the Arizona Coyotes. Let's talk about another one where I think the dog is barking as well. So cue that sound bit, you guys. We've got the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Now plus 172 here for the Flyers and plus 1.5 at minus 140. It's not out of the range of juice taking them on the puck line in this one. Minus 210 here for the Vegas Golden Knights. Total of 6.5, juice to that under at minus 140. You guys know it's cost me going against Vegas. I went against them in that first game versus the Seattle Kraken. In this one here, the Flyers' heart and soul is Carter Hart. Carter Hart has been absolutely phenomenal to start off the season for them. 3-1 on the season with a 2.01 goals against average and a save percentage of 0.929. If he can do what he did in his last couple of games, the Flyers have every opportunity of keeping this one tight. Now, Logan Thompson is confirmed in goal here for the Vegas Golden Knights. solid goaltender. We've got two really solid goaltenders. Weak power play here for the Flyers, so they're going to get no advantage here. Interesting though, weak power play, but they've actually been able to score those goals shorthanded when their opponent's been on the power play. So I don't know what to make of that, but this team, it relies on Carter Hart. I'm going to look at Carter Hart to play a phenomenal one. First period, give me the under 1.5 at -102, and I won't breathe for the first period. That is my best bet in this one, the under 1.5. Two solid defenses, solid goaltending. You look at the limited shots Vegas is holding opponents to 28 shots on goal, 1.83 goals per game. And then the Philadelphia Flyers, third overall in the league at limiting opponents' ability to get these shots at 27.4 and 2.6. I feel like I'm liking a lot of dogs today. You guys, it's making me kind of feel uneasy the more I talk about this and give out these bets here. We're going to breathe. Okay. We're almost done. We are done. You guys, that is all 16 games on the slate for today. If you missed anything, don't worry. I'm going to get those bookmarks up and you can go back and go over those again. If you're watching on IG, head on over to Sports Grid TV X. You can rewatch the show over there. I'm going to get those bookmarks up right away. It does follow the slate over on FanDuel. So if you're jumping around and don't have time, but you guys, the Capitals got a goal and they took it away. I can't wait to get this game on. I got a million things I got to get done. I'm going to get these bookmarks done for you. I'll be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow's slate is this big. So it will be a fast show tomorrow. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you so much for joining me for Puck It with Joe over on Sports Grid TV. Make sure you go give Sports Grid TV a follow on all social media platforms so you don't miss out on any of my content. You guys, I'm going to go breathe and drink some water. Have a good one. Bye now.